say 7 o'clock or whenever you wake up, you take this and you put in water again up to here. 20 drops of this, okay? These are all minerals, 96 minerals. And then you put 2 scoops of that, or 3 scoops if you want to be really good. 3 scoops of this, 20 drops of that. You shake it up in your mixer, and then you have 3 of these, 3 herbal fiber cleanse. Okay? 2 hours later.
23 and 2.
Nice. Yeah. Or 23 and 3 if you want to make it easier. Okay? Then you know how to make this, right? And so this gets made 2 hours later.
2 hours later?
2 hours.
How often shall we eat?
Every 2 hours.
Every 2 hours you'll do something.
If you're not many, I can't eat so much.
If you haven't tried yet,
you have to try.
Say no. Anyone who says no before they try, they already lost. Okay. So then 2 hours later, you'll take 5 of these. 4 or 5. If you're smaller, 4. If you're big, 6. So you know what I mean. Just decide for yourself. Yeah. 4, 5, or 6 of these, depending. Like you're 6. You know, you're probably 4. You know what I mean?
6.
Yeah, 6. Yeah. So then 2 hours later, this again. Okay?
But should we not take this one?
We already did. We took it 4 hours ago. So 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Then we start over again. 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, right? And
so
then
we are only eating here.
This is a detox cleanse.
Marie, du ska hjälpa mig.
Ja, jag ska hjälpa.
But I'll sneak you some food if you want. Okay.
Han ska sneaka någon mat på det
from the bears. So then you do the same thing. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, just the same as you did. And then later in the evening, as soon as you get hungry, when you're done with this. So let's say that's 7, 9, 11, 1, 3, 5. Let's say at 7 o'clock you get hungry. Then you take 3 big scoops of this, right? And you just mix it. And I'll go get some. Like some fruit juice, like some blueberry juice or something like that. Tastes really good. Mixed with that, you drink it, and then just before bed, you have 2 tablespoons of this. You could mix these if you want. That's why I put them together. If you're really tired and it's 8 o'clock, just take them both. Now I'll explain what all this does for you in the class tomorrow, but I just want to tell you how to do it today. So it's really easy. When you start this, just look at what time it is. And just know in 2 hours you're coming back, boom, boom, boom. Now when we go on the road, I'll bring these things with us, and we'll bring our shakers, so we'll be able to have it even when we're traveling. It's no problem at all. And so you'll these are complete meals. This is like having a complete meal. These are like having complete meals. These are like, it's almost like having 7 meals a day for nutrition. But you know how many calories you get taking all of this? About 400.
Wow.
400 calories.
It's not much.
But you get the nutrients from having 7,000 calories. You'd have to have over 8,000 calories to get this many nutrients, but we give it to you in less than 10% of that. 4% of that, even 5% of that. So, and you'll feel amazing. This is actually mood food. It makes you feel good. This has rhodiola rosea, and it has maca, and it has white American ginseng. And all 3 of those just make you feel wonderful. Makes you feel happy. So, this is going to uplift you. It's going to make you have beautiful dreams. And also if any of you are going through emotional things, it's amazing that helping you forgive people. Because food, believe it or not, actually slows down your mind, slows it down a lot. Now you guys are gonna, day one, you're gonna be okay. Tomorrow, you wanna do this, so you're gonna make it. Day two, you're gonna want food, because you're gonna miss food. You're gonna wanna chew on food. You're gonna, you know, and you gotta make it through day two. When you get to day three, that's when you feel strong. You go, wow, I could do this, I'm doing it. I'm not addicted to food. I'm in control of my life. On day four, you wake up and you're just a being of light. You wake up and you're just like, wow, life is not what I thought it was. Like, and you guys are gonna go through this, and by day five, you literally could meditate and just let go of layer after layer after layer of stress, and you're gonna leave here just 5 days from now. And you're gonna say, I remember that talk we had in the kitchen, and I thought you were crazy. I never believed that 5 days could transform a person so much, and I see it happen here all the time. All the time. So, but part of it is letting go of that addiction that we have. It says that we have to smell and taste and chew food multiple times a day in order to feel safe and secure. You know, food doesn't make us secure. Food doesn't make us happy. That comes from inside. And you guys, I'm inviting you all to find that place inside over these next 5 days. You know, you're going to find yourself wanting to go out in a field or up on that mountain or out by the stream and just with nobody around. You're just going to tell everybody, would you just leave me alone for a little while? Because I'm going to go down by that stream and I'm going to find myself. And you think I'm crazy, but you're going to do it. Or maybe you two will just, you know, walk out there together and just not even talk and feel like you became much closer just for being in each other's presence. That's the type of thing that happens here. It's amazing. So words aren't always necessary here. You're going to start to feel how other people are feeling, and it's really a beautiful thing. And this land, underneath us, if we dig down just 4 feet, there'll be water. So there's a river running underneath us here. And if you know about the healing power of water, water carries energy. So if you sit on that ground and you meditate, all of your negative energy will be moved, and you'll never have it moved like that. I've got ash trees upwind. So the wind comes through the ash trees. And you know, the Native Americans believe that ash trees are so healing for the soul. So the wind, when it comes from that direction to this direction, the same direction that the water's moving, that's the time to meditate. So when you feel that wind coming down the valley, just take and just let go of stuff. It's just amazing. So, but also just have fun. Like, I've got a stereo over there with CDs, like 200 CDs. Just go through and find the music that makes you happy. Play some music. You know, whatever you want to do, just tell me, and we'll try to find a way for you guys to do that. You want to work out? I've got tons of weight equipment in one of those containers. A couple of us big guys could bring it out. We could work out.
Yes!
Right? So, if the ladies want a sauna, I've got an infrared sauna. Go in there, sweat all those toxins out of you. You know, if anybody needs a massage, it's not free. I do need to charge, but I'm a great massage therapist. I'm really good.
How much does it cost?
Hva er det vi tar nå, Håkon?
Så den skal ha den der aminos.
Det må jeg også.
Love skal nå. Altså den der organisk pulver med protein.
Oi, nå er det skje oppi da?
Ja, det blir litt.
For lite nett.
Den
Er for store.
Jeg må også.
skal ligge egentlig i bunnen her, men den
Og når du 4 strøkene, så er du snill.
som regel var snill. Hvis ikke er snill, så er det bra.
Diet sodas and things like that. And so I decided that I wanted to learn how to keep my body healthy, and that led me to meet a woman named Ann Wigmore. And Ann Wigmore is the mother of wheatgrass, and she taught people to use wheatgrass juice to cure themselves of cancer. And so working through her, my first focus was, wow, all these people are dying of cancer, and I have an answer, so I'm going to go out and I'm going to teach them about that. But then I realized people were dying from other stuff besides just cancer. They were dying from heart disease and a lot of other things. And so I wanted to figure out why they were dying from those diseases as well. And so I ultimately began to study all diseases. And it led me to realize that all diseases are nothing more than something going wrong with one single cell. You know what I mean? One cell is sick, so the whole body gets sick. And so I started, instead of studying disease itself, I started studying why cells stop functioning properly. And when you figure out why cells stop functioning properly, you also figure out why the body gets disease. Now there's a lot being said about genetics. Oh, disease is caused by genetics. That's like saying that every 7-foot tall person is going to be great at basketball. It just isn't true. There's, 100,000 7-foot tall men in the world, and only 4 of them are playing in the NBA. Only 4. And they don't start. Only one of them is good enough to start. So being 7 foot tall doesn't mean that you're going to play in the NBA. And having genetic predisposition for diabetes does not mean you'll get diabetes. For breast cancer does not mean you'll get breast cancer. It only means you have the potential to. And if you do everything right, that potential could be realized, just like the 7-footer could become a star in the NBA. But if you don't do everything right, or in this case, do everything wrong, then you may never get cancer. And so what I found was that all diseases ultimately lead to death. And so death itself must be the end of disease in a certain fashion. So I began to look at aging as the disease that we needed to fight. And if you fight aging, because aging is nothing more than cellular breakdown, right? Aging is nothing more than cellular breakdown. Disease is caused by cellular breakdown, so the ultimate disease is aging. It's chronic, it's degenerative, and it leads to death. And so in my quest to find out how to stop aging so that I would stop disease, I realized that slowing down aging or stopping aging could actually enable us to double the current American lifespan, from around 74 years old to up to 120. So to not exactly double it, but to almost double it. And all the research I read showed that actually was possible. I met a woman who was 119. I met a dozen people who are 110 or older. And I said, why them and not my grandfather who died at 74? You know what I mean? What's the difference in those 40 years? I mean, entire lives. I don't know if you know, but I tell women this all the time. The greatest women in history, if you look at the 100 greatest women in history, most of them achieved their greatness before they were 30. Like 95% of them achieved their greatness before they were 30. Grandma Moses, who became a great impressionist artist, was one of the few that achieved greatness in their advanced years. And that isn't because they're advanced years, it's because they didn't live that long. You see, the average age in the time of Joan of Arc, and that was like 40 years old, so you better achieve greatness by 30, because you're only going to live to be 45 or 50, if you're a ripe old age. But today, because of what we know, the food we have, the medicine we have, the protection of houses and clothes and things like that, we could extend our maximum life. And so I began to look at biomarkers. If you look at what is the shortest thing, let's say that if you need to live a long time, you need 100 ingredients. As soon as you run out of one ingredient, you can't live a long time anymore. So I wanted to find out which ingredients were most likely to run out first, and that's what led to death. And that's what led me to the heart and to our breath. Because the heart is a muscle. It is the most responsible organ in our body. We could live without our brain. We could go brain dead, but you can't go heart dead. And when that heart stops pumping blood, we die, period. Unless we have an artificial heart, which they're working on. But that's not all of our future. You know what I mean? We got to work with the one we have. And so that most limiting factor of all to longevity actually is to keep our heart healthy. Because it has a limited number of pumps. And what's directly related to our heart? Our breath. And so if we could regulate our breath, and we all learned this in our you know, when we went through our transcendental meditation classes, or maybe our yoga classes, or maybe we did, maybe we even did some, different breath work, that's done for spiritual reasons or physical reasons, whatever, whether it's karate, where they teach you how to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. But what I found studying and learning all of those techniques is a simple technique that everybody could use, regardless if you have any discipline that you've learned in yoga or karate or anything. And it's a simple breath regulating meditation. And you don't have to have a mantra, so I'll teach it to you without a mantra, and then if you want a mantra, you can choose one. You know what I mean? And just add it in later with your breath. Do you have any questions? Have I been talking too fast? Would you guys mind explaining to them any? We're just going to have a breath count, and what I want you to do is I'll illustrate it for you first, and what our goal is to regulate two things, our breath and our thoughts. And two things that we almost never regulate are our breath and our subconscious thoughts. And they usually roam free. So how many breaths do you think most people take a minute?
15.
Like 12 to 20. Like that's a lot of, what do you say, 15? So you're right in the middle of that.
16.
Yeah, right. So, and if you think about it, that's a lot of breaths to take, and you see people, I see people in the gym, that can't be healthy, that just can't be good for you. Or you see people running and they stop and they're like, that just can't be good, it's not, so if you're running, everybody knows that first you run out of the blood glucose that's in your blood, and then you go to the blood glucose that's in your tissue and then your liver, and then when you run out of that, you get this cramp in your side, right? And then you sort of go through, and then you start, it's almost like you're into a catabolic state at that point. Well, when you start breathing, if you regulate your breath, you could delay that significantly. You could use your blood glucose more efficiently, and it goes something like this. When I was a long distance runner, I would do it with every step. And so I would go, first I'll start with all of my breath out, and on the inhale, now you see, each breath is taking 20 seconds. And so you could bring that to 3 breaths per minute, okay? And if you practice that, ultimately you could take it and you could slow that down and you could get to 2 breaths a minute. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start out with 3 breaths a minute, and then we're gonna go on to 2 breaths a minute. And when you guys get to 2 breaths a minute, you could practice 2 breaths a minute. And when you wake up in the morning, if you regulate your breath, practice 2 breaths a minute for 5 minutes, okay? Doesn't take that long. And then at another point in the day, it doesn't matter, after dinner but before bedtime, do it again. So 10 minutes a day, regulating your breath, and you're gonna find during the day, when you're feeling stressed out, you're going to find yourself going, and your heart's going to calm down. You're just going to be going like, it's going to be like all zenned out. And then if you have a nice mantra that you use with that. Now for me, my mantra are things that I want to invite into my life. You know what I mean? I'm telling the universe, I'm open to these things. This is what I want to manifest. And so for me, my mantra is peace and love and light and joy. So peace and love and light and joy. So since I have, typically, a rhythm, so when I breathe, it's like, and And I say it again inside my head while I'm holding my breath. Peace and love and light and joy. And so my breath is like on the inhale. If you let that last breath out like it's just air coming out of a balloon, it just feels wonderful. Okay, do you guys want to try it together?